Happy Monday and welcome to my weekly review. First order of business for the day is how is it mid-January? I was thinking about this last night as I was going through my planner for the week and thinking about how in years past January always seems to last extremely long. There are memes about it, everyone always jokes about it. And last January in particular, I felt like it lasted a very, very long time. And honestly, I enjoy it. It's something I look forward to after the holidays when time is moving so quickly, where I can really focus in on my year, on my goals, and not become a hermit, but kind of hermit a little bit more than usual, maybe, and just focus on me and my life and seeing how much I can get done in that period of time. And I feel like this January has not been behaving in the way that I expected. It's moving pretty quickly, at least in my life and my experience. And with that has come some disappointment. I've had a lot of personal expectations for what I could accomplish, what I could see through in January, and it being the 12th, I feel like I'm underperforming. I feel like I'm behind. And so I've been working through that and thinking about how I do need to give myself some grace and celebrate what I have accomplished and just keep pace and keep consistency. But that was kind of my bigger thought coming into this update. My next one, on the topic of the planner, is I have implemented a notebook organization system for my life and my business. I did this as an intentional step away from, my phone and my computer. Even though I'm still on my computer a ton, I'm on my phone plenty. I don't like having to rely on Google Calendar and different task managers and things like that. So I have a proper binder that keeps any documents that I want to keep top of mind, any like working documents and things like that. It's more of like a life thing and less of a business thing, but there's some overlap there. I have Moleskine, I don't really know how people say it, but I have a planner and then I have a to-do list notebook as well. And these three things are kind of my core pieces. I also have a notebook for planning content and things like that. I have a notebook that is very small for writing in my gym workouts. I'm also on a hiatus from any wearables. I used to wear a Whoop quite a bit, and now I am taking a break from all of that to try to connect with my body more, but also just like, I don't know, distance myself a little bit from some technology. Not permanently, not as a working toward completely, technologyless life. I could never do that in my line of work and how I like to live, but right now it's a bit of a focus just to allow myself to be in more alignment with myself. And the last general update is content, which applies to what you are watching right now. I have been, again, on a different hiatus, but a hiatus from making YouTube videos and really making content in general. I took a step back to reassess what I was producing, to see if I felt like it was in alignment with not only who I am and who I want to be, but also my goals and what it really was accomplishing, but also asking myself why and seeing what did I really want out of it. So with that, after the reflection, after the planning and the thought, I'm returning to making content in a pretty ambitious way, but on a personal side, on a business side, and I'll probably leave it at that because I just kind of want it to roll out as it will. But these weekly updates are exciting to me because they are kind of like journal entries for me to look back on, but it's also a way for me to cover a lot of different interests and a lot of different like areas of my life in one short video. Now into maybe the more interesting stuff, what I am reading and what I have read. So this week I read The Purpose of Money and Wealth by Felix Miski. This was on Substack. He has a fantastic Substack called Felix's Desk, and I actually took it, printed it out, and so that I could highlight it because I like to have things in physical form. But I have been working to reframe revisit, rework my relationship with money, and also maybe especially my relationship with the pursuit of money. And this particular piece really, really helped with that. I will link it in the description, but it is a phenomenal piece. He pulls in aspects of Stoicism, which is something that I really follow quite a bit. I read a lot about, but bringing in philosophy and tying it to your relationship with money and wealth and kind of taking control over it. And the bit that I wanted to call out specifically is my tendency is to feel bad about the pursuit of money in my life because to me, money is bad and it is evil and it is tied to evil things, which can be true. But I have a hard time separating myself from that and separating my pursuit of wealth from that. And what he calls out is that the Stoics classified things like money as a preferred indifferent, which means that they can be chosen and often sensibly, but they don't have moral value on their own. So then he goes on to say this reframes wealth as a neutral because what matters is the mind directing it. So this little bit of this had such a massive impact on my perspective around money, around wealth. So I will link that incredible piece. He puts out really, really valuable stuff. The other thing that I am currently reading is Wuthering Heights. I've never read Wuthering Heights, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling a bit. I haven't gotten too far into it, but I want to see it before the movie adaptation new one comes out. Even though I think that that's not going to be like, completely book accurate. It's more of a take on it, but I want to read it. I've been challenging myself to read more classics and things like that. So I'll probably provide more updates on this, but right now it's a struggle. So we'll see. Watching and listening, we went to the orchestra on Friday night to see a symphony performed. Well, two symphonies performed by the Louisville Orchestra. One was Haydn, and the other was Mozart. It was a great night. We really enjoyed it, and we'll probably be returning pretty often to that. That's kind of an intentional step for us this year to be more cultured, to go to more events and things like that. I've been obsessed with the song Harvest Moon by OK Lou. I typically don't listen to that type of music a lot. I can dig it, I enjoy it. I also just don't listen to music a ton. I appreciate it. I have a background in music and stuff, but it's not like a thing that I have in my ears all the time. But this song has, in fact, been in my ears all week. The other thing I'm watching was the Golden Globes last night. I thought it was a great event. I thought Nikki Glaser did a great job hosting. She's hilarious. But a takeaway that we had is that there was a lot of star power. I feel like there have been some events and, award shows in the past few years where you kind of watch and you're like, I don't really know these people. Like, where are the big stars? Where are the big people? Last night they were out and it was cool to see. Very, very neat. And I was pretty happy with how the awards were distributed. My next category is coffee. I don't know really what this category will become and evolve to, but I have been working on building out my at-home coffee area. And right now, we use a fellow grinder. I have beef with the grinder right now, but I also use an AeroPress. We have an espresso machine picked out. We haven't purchased it yet. It's a pretty big purchase to make. So in order to get the espresso machine, we also need to replace our cabinet. So it's kind of a whole thing. So right now I am using my trusty AeroPress. I use the pour over sometimes as well when I want a pour over, but the AeroPress has been doing very well. And this week I've been focused on really dialing in an iced latte with it. It's kind of difficult because it's not necessarily an espresso, maker, but it's going well. It's getting better. I'm pretty happy with it. Next up is sports. For context, here I follow a lot of women's sports, and then I also enjoy like the Olympics. I enjoy tennis, golf, things like that. So pretty wide range of sports. But probably the biggest league that we follow in our household, is the NWSL, so the Women's Professional League in the U.S. And this week there have been a lot of trades happening in the off season as we're preparing for preseason. And the takeaway I have here is Denver is building out their team in a pretty massive way. They just got Janine Sonis from my team, Racing Louisville, which I am super sad about, but very happy for her because she's going home. They've got Carson Pickett. They just signed Lindsay Heaps. They have Abby Smith for goalkeeper. Like, they are really building out a very nice team, which I find very impressive for a team that's just now entering the league. Next is the Winter Olympics are coming up. I feel utterly uninformed about the Winter Olympics that are a matter of weeks away. I think like February 6th is when they start. I'm very excited about them, but I need to catch up on some of the winter sports, see what's going on there, see who I need to watch, things like that. But I am excited. I have been seeing a lot of ice skating videos lately, so at least I'll be informed on that sport. And then my last bullet point for sports is tennis is back. This is very exciting. I love watching tennis throughout the year. It is such a long season, so it really keeps me occupied. But I also love watching the majors, and the Australian Open is in qualifiers right now. So very excited about that. I think Coco Gauff is in incredible form. She just beat Swiatek and looks great. So interested to see how she does. But I'm also always rooting for Naomi Osaka. I know that she'll come in with some great fits, but she has been slowly building back, and it is just so neat to see. Next is health. I have been on the side of TikTok that is focused on Chinese wellness practices. And so I have been jumping up and down in the morning, doing some tapping, some stretching, but I've also started drinking the hot water. I don't have any takeaways yet, except that it feels pretty good. The hot water is interesting because I do like a room temperature colder water, but you can kind of feel the warmth and the potential benefit whenever you're drinking it. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I have positive updates there. And then the last area for the week is work and business. We just launched a new website with refreshed branding, new service structure for our business Low Tide. I will link this below as well in case you want to look around on it. But I'm really stoked about this website. I'm really happy about it. We had a very good friend support me with the branding, and she just killed it. And then I was able to build it out into a pretty good site. So very happy with this. Very excited about the future of this business. But in business, a big focus for me right now is focusing on alignment. And we actually did an exercise over the weekend where we wrote out a bunch of options based on, like, we wrote out these cards and focused on like different things I can offer different audiences and things like that, and tried to match them up to see what's like most aligned with me, but also what could be the highest impact financially and for other people. So from that, we wrote them all out, and now we kind of aligned on steps forward, and we're going to see how that goes. But part of that is content, part of that is business content in particular. And so that's going to be a really big focus for me in the coming weeks and months. So very excited about that. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching my first weekly review back. My first one in this specific format. We'll see if it sticks. But if you have any thoughts, any comments, any questions, drop them below, and I will see you next Monday.